The next book I'm going to do, well, first book I'm going to do is the highly anticipated, highly controversial Spider-Man 26, or it's 25. What is this? I don't know what it is. The book where it's already been spoiled. The book where Miss Marvel dies. This is the book. They didn't want to spoil it, but because social media are a bunch of assholes, they spoiled it before Marvel could even did it. So Marvel went ahead and like, yeah, we're killing her in this book. And then there was some big controversy stuff like that. But I was like, I wasn't going to talk about it until we actually reviewed the book, because context is everything. We got to know the context of it first before we just jump into it, because that's how shit rolls downhill. You don't know what's going on. You start just talking at your ass about stuff like that, and you don't know. So we're going to talk about it first, and then we're going to discuss about the controversy about Ms. Marvel dying in a Spider-Man book surrounded by people she don't even know. Meanwhile, her best friend, Miles Morales, is nowhere in this book. So let's get to it. All right. Okay, so it starts off with Kamala Khan actually getting hired at Oscorp. The reason she got hired at Oscorp is because 9 months ago, she saw Spider-Man going into Norman Osborn's lab, and she don't know why she's going to. So she's getting hired at Oscorp to see if Spider-Man is up to some supervillain shit. That's why she's getting hired there, you know. Plus, I think Oscorp is like New Jersey, some shit like that. But anyway, we're in New York, and basically that dude. Okay, so I finally know the name of that dude. His name is Rabin. That's the dude that's been after them the whole time. I never knew his name, but he's here now. He the emissary is what they call him. And Norman Osborn there now as the Golden Goblin, Golden Glider, whatever. He's a good guy now. Doesn't matter. He's like, okay, if this shitty ass villain wants to get
that's not canon.
It is now. So yeah. So like I said, the Golden Goblin, Golden Glider, whatever the fuck you want to call him. I don't know what you want to call him. Norman Osborn. He's there. He's like, don't worry, I'll protect you from this shitty ass villain that's about to show up. He's like, cool. And then Miss Marvel shows up. He's like, what the fuck Miss Marvel doing here? He's like, yeah, don't worry, I'll protect you too. So yeah, that's Rabin, the emissary, whatever you call him back. He's back, and he's like, I'm here to fulfill my God, way-ups, fulfillment. Because basically, if he kills Mary Jane, he becomes a god. That's his whole point he's trying to do. And he basically transforms himself into some kind of demon or whatever. Norman beats his ass. Kamala Khan beats his ass. He's like, oh, I was prepared for you all. And so basically, he built like some glyphs inside of Central Park, and out pops a dragon, because that's one of his powers. So a dragon is loose in Central Park, destroying shit. And now he's like, yes, now you have to fight the dragon so I can kill the Mary Jane, the Scarlet Woman. And then while that happened, that's when, oh yeah, they talk about Paul. Paul sucks. That's all you know. So, yeah. So they finally understand where Paul came from. So she's like, why was Paul in the alternate dimension? Why does he know so much about the alternate dimension? Why was he so calm in the alternate dimension? And they finally realized he's Rabin's son. His name is Paul Jeremiah Rabin. That's his name. So he's a son. So, and he was like, so you're a bad guy? What the hell? Like, and then he punched him in the face. But, you know, since Peter Spider said to go off, it didn't really cause him a threat. He basically like, okay, I'm going to give you a free one, Paul. Do your shit one more time. There's going to be some furniture moving in here, you know. But Mary Jane's just like, you know what? Don't worry about it. He told me back on the other dimension that he was old boy's son. So it's not a secret. It's a secret to you, but I know everything about Paul. Paul is a good man, and he's surrounded by his guilt. Peter sounds familiar, you know. So basically, trying to make Paul and Peter all Peter and Paul. They were on the two sides of the same coin. So yeah. So Rabin is going crazy. You're like, okay, so you know my son, but you don't know what else I've done. You're a kid. So he does some whammy jammy, and Mary Jane and Paul's kids disappear. Where they go? I don't know. Fuck them. So yeah. So now. Yeah, so he's like, yeah, I have taken your kids. He's like, you take my kids, I'm going to kill you, emissary. So Mary Jane has power now because Paul built some kind of glove that does shit or whatever. Blasts him. He's like, yeah, I want you to do it. He basically wants Mary Jane to come back so he can kill him, you know. And that's when the Fantastic Four show up, and they start throwing insults at Peter, like, Peter, you suck. What are you doing? You got this shitty ass villain here. And Peter's like, look, what you gonna do? Are y'all gonna insult me all day? Because they still mad about him stealing the reactor for Norman. So you're like, y'all gonna shit on me all day, or you gonna fight the dragon? And Ben is like, man, we can do both. Because you suck, Peter, you know. And you're like, you should say thank you, Peter, since we're here to help you. You're like, okay, thank you. Now go fight the dragon while I go fight the emissary. And like, fine, we'll go beat up the dragon. So the emissary is there. He's like, okay, I'm about to kill Mary Jane. Before you do that, that's when Kamala Khan starts beating the shit out of him some more. Spider-Man is just like, okay, Kamala Khan, protect Mary Jane with your life. Bad choice of words. They're like, run out of here before the emissary shows back up. And they're like, and they take off running. And the Fantastic Four do some sciencey bullshit. They beat the dragon. Doesn't matter. He like do this shit that do mathematics and take the dragon out of the set. Anyway, Peter goes one-on-one with Rabin, picks up a parking pole and beat the sign of coins out of him. And keeps beating them. They're like, you're not touching Mary Jane, not getting anywhere near. They're like, no, I've seen the future, Spider-Man. I'm already there. So he teleports out of there to Mary Jane. He's like, oh shit. So they're still fighting them. They back off while they're going. Kamala Khan stabs Mary Jane right there. She runs off. She's like, okay, whatever you do, stay where you are and don't stop running. So you run opposite direction, I go this opposite direction because he's looking for you. So as soon as Rabin shows up, he stabs her. Mary Jane is dead. Or is she? Because it turns out, so when he stabs Mary Jane, he thinks, now I'm going to ascend into a god. But the point is, he didn't stab Mary Jane, so the gods reject him and turn him into dust or some shit. Meanwhile, Peter's looking at Mary Jane like, Mary Jane, don't leave me. He's like, I'm not Mary Jane. He's like, I'm Kamala Khan. Because Kamala Khan has her shape-shifting powers. So she switched places with Mary Jane to make Rabin think it was Mary Jane, but it was really Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan didn't think about it because she also has healing powers, but that magic crowbar, whatever, like what that stabbed her, won't let her heal. So she's like, oh shit, like something's not right.
Doctor Strange to do some shit.
It could, but he's on house duty or some shit. I don't know, like that. Yeah. So anyway,
they'll do something. They'll figure something.
We know. We're gonna talk about it in a second because I have my theories. But yeah, so Miss Marvel didn't know Peter Parker was Spider-Man, so he took his mask off. She's like, Peter, I didn't know you were Spider-Man. Like, well, I don't need this anymore. Take a mask. So he like, Kamala Khan. Wait, we work together. Like, yeah, I've been Miss Marvel the whole time. Like, oh shit. And she's like, stay with me, don't die. You're like, did I do good? You didn't do good, Camilla. You did great. And she like promised me whatever. And she fades out. That's it. Dead. And all these random ass motherfuckers who never even met her before, except Ono Osborn, who she works for, who didn't even know who she was. They're just there. Yeah. Oh, and Mary Jane's kids have disappeared, so they cry with it also. And yeah, that is it. Paul's an asshole because
who's that? Who's that guy?
Paul, the most hated Spider-Man.
Oh, that guy. The guy in okay, yeah.
Yeah. The one everybody hates. Yeah. So Paul is there too. To witness Kamala Khan passing
and
away.
He comforts MJ.
Exactly. So yes, and the next book we'll see Kamala Khan as funeral for a friend or a fallen friend or some shit like that. So now let's talk about this. This is the controversy that happened. Now the thing is, I can't really rate or review this book properly because everybody on the internet is an asshole and spoiled the ending for me. Because I felt like they wanted it to be a shocker, like, oh, Mary Jane died. No, Kamala Khan died. They want to be a shocker, but it can't. Who's Paul?
Oh.
The most hated person of all time? he stole Mary Jane, banging her now, married her for like 4 or 5 years, while Peter is like, you know, pining after her. Oh, I just had a bagel and really hit the spot. Oh,
yeah,
nice.
Waka wa. Thanks, Jarrell. Or what's your name?
I get it now.
You
okay.
get it?
Light bulb.
McFly. Hello, McFly. You get that?
I get it now. I'm sorry. It's early in the morning. Sorry. Yeah. So let's talk about this. So like I said, Kamala Khan died in a Spider-Man book. So we got to ask the obvious question. We got to ask the question that everybody's been saying. Is this fridging? Now, we got to talk about what fridging is because a lot of people don't know what fridging is. There is a trope in comics and comics alone called women in the refrigerators.
Was it Gail Simone? Who was it? Gail Simone who penned that?
Gail Simone coined the term women in refrigerators. Yeah. The term came from a Green Lantern comic. Green Lantern went to go fight a bad guy. The bad guy came back revenge, killed his girlfriend, and stuffed her in a refrigerator. So when Green Lantern came home, found his girlfriend in a refrigerator with a note saying, I found out where you live, something like that. So that's the women in refrigerators trope. Basically, women in refrigerators trope is when the girlfriend or the wives or the mothers or the aunts or whatever like that suffer, die just to propel the storyline of the main hero. That's what women.
And it's usually a male. A woman dies to further the male story.
Right. And keep in mind, this is not the first time this happened. This is just like basically the camel that broke the hump that broke the camel's back, however that phrase goes, because this has been going on forever. Like we can talk about Gwen Stacy. Gwen Stacy is fridging when Green Goblin threw off a bridge. Barbara Gordon getting shot by Joker. Yeah. That's fridging.
I mean, the Punisher. I mean, it's a staple in a lot of movies, you know.
Right, just the girlfriend dying. But his thing, Eli, I'm here to say here that the women in fridges trope is bullshit. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. I'm pretty sure.
Story or
no, in general, just period. It's bullshit. Okay. It's not a thing. They made it a thing. It's victimization. Can I go into detail about it? I know it's controversial. I've got into it with Gomer a bunch of times. Okay. Because yes, we can talk about how Gwen Stacy died, and we can talk about how Barbara Gordon got shot and shit like that. Only propel the story of the main hero. I get that. But okay, so how come Barbara Gordon can get shot and that's fridging? But when Jason Todd can be with a crowbar, what is that? You know, when Gwen Stacy gets thrown off a bridge, that's fridging. But when Harry Osborn gets addicted to drugs and all kinds of shit like that, what happens with that? You know, so we can talk. Yeah, I'm just saying that we can keep bringing up situations about that where if you're a supporting character of the hero, fucked up shit is going to happen to you regardless of your gender. Male Alfred died. Alfred got his neck broken by Bane. Is that fridging?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more about women's portrayal in these stories. You know that there's no women in these stories, and the only purpose they serve is to die. So I think that's that's the concern.
That is true,
and that's why But hey, that's why we encourage women writers to write stories.
Right, I get that, but I'm just saying that the men get fucked up in these stories also if they're supporting characters just as much. Like I think we're pointing fingers and we're drawing straws, but I think we're pointing a situation where it happens to everybody. So that's just me. That's just me. So
I mean it is a predictable trope though. You know, I mean, you know that it's predictable, but
like people are saying that Aunt May in the last Spider-Man movie got fridged. You know, but Uncle Ben has been shot like 500 times. Like just in the last Spider-Verse movie alone. Is that fridging? It's like we're picking and choosing, we're cherry picking. That's all I'm saying. So if you don't have powers, you're gonna get fucked up, basically. So that's one thing about that. So I don't think it's fridging. Plus, let's talk about what's gonna happen to Kamala Khan. Yes, she died. We all know what's going to happen. We all know she's gonna get resurrected by her core. They're gonna find some mutant gene in her. She's gonna be resurrected.
Ain't she a mutant? Or no, she's an Inhuman.
She's an Inhuman. But in the Kamala Khan in the Miss Marvel show, the very last thing they did was reveal that she was a mutant.
But is that canon?
It is now. It will be. Canon can be whatever they want it to be. So that's what's going to happen. She's going to be reborn by Krakoa. They're going to find the mutant X gene in her. She's going to be reborn with her.
Or put one in her because can't fucking read. Do some. Didn't read.
He cut off his kids shit.
Yeah.
So he can put that shit in there if he wants.
Put the shit back. You know, he did that shit to his kids. So
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. She's going to be reborn with her MCU powers, that weird light shit, whatever. The stretchy shit, that's going to go away. So they're going to make her more MCU. Yeah, they're going to make her more MCU, similar.
But, I mean, it sounds like, I didn't read this, so I haven't been reading this run. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like she sacrificed herself in a way, kind of, sort of. So...
That's true, but she sacrificed herself in somebody else's book.
Yeah, but still, like
it wasn't like it was her. It wasn't like Death of Superman where she fought Doomsday for like 12 issues, and it wasn't like that.
Yeah, because I've seen a shitstorm on Twitter that let's kill off a fan favorite character to sell a book that not a lot of people are into. I mean, I'm not reading.
Right, but at the same time, you're killing off a minority brown character. So yes, I'm not saying Miss Marvel has a whole bunch of fans, but there are some fans of Kamala Khan. Like there's not a whole lot of brown teenage girl superheroes. So she does have her own significant fan base. So the
Middle Eastern descent,
right. Like, so the one brown character you have, you're gonna kill her off. Okay, yeah. So yeah, some people are pissed off about that, even though we all know they're gonna bring her back. This is not permanent thing. And the funny thing is,
it's not like Spider-Man came home and found her dead. You know,
that would have been super fucked up. That would have been straight up.
Yeah,
frigid.
I think that's what. I think that
like
that
not
sort of
even a
scenario.
chance to defend herself. Like Batgirl when she got shot by Joker. She didn't even. It wasn't like she was in a one-on-one fight. No, she just opened the door, bam, shot. That's it. So
it sounds.
So
like
you're right. She did on her own terms. So even then, it's not really. I don't know. It's borderline. It's borderline. Even though I said it's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't read it, so I don't even know. But I'm just going by what I saw. I don't know. I don't know. But I mean,
but that's what happened. I mean, like I said, she sacrificed herself to save Mary Jane. But at the same time, even though we know she's going to come back, she's going to have some bullshit X-Men powers and team up with Wolverine, shit like that. The fact that they did this cheap death in the Spider-Man comic, that still is cheap. That still is gimmicky.
That became like a trope. Like every TV show, you know, from Walking Dead and Game of Thrones, who's gonna die this episode? Who's gonna die this season?
And it's cheap. It's cheap. Like you're just killing people off. Honestly, that turned me off of Wakanda Forever. When they killed off the Queen Mother just for like no reason, just randomly just to get cheap emotions out of you. I'm like, I'm like, you're trying too hard.
Not like we're already feeling it going into that fucking movie.
Right now, you pile on top of it. Like, how many funerals we gonna have in this movie?